Hello and welcome. My name's Alan, and today we are back with more ideas and opinions of Albert Einstein. Today we're going to read two pieces um, that was by Einstein here. So, first one is called The International of Science, and the blurb reads, written shortly after World War I, published in Mein Weltbild, Amsterdam, Querido Verlag, 1934. At a sitting for the Academy during the war, at the time when nationalism and political infatuation had reached its heights, Emil Fischer spoke the following emphatic words. It's no use, gentlemen. Science is and remains international. The really great scientists have always known this and felt it passionately. Even though in times of political strife they may have remained isolated among their colleagues of inferior caliber, in every camp during the war, this group of voters betrayed their sacred trust. The International Association of Academies was broken up. Congresses were and still are held from which colleagues from enemy countries are excluded. Political considerations advanced with much solemnity prevent the triumph of the purely objective ways of thinking without which our great aims must necessarily be frustrated. What can right-minded people who are proof against the emotional temptations of the moment do to repair the damage? With the majority of intellectual workers still so excited truly international congresses on the grand scale cannot yet be held. The psychological obstacles to the restoration of the international associations of scientific workers are still far too formidable to be overcome by the majority whose ideas and feelings are of a more comprehensive kind. Men of this kind can aid in the great work of restoring the international societies to health by keeping in close touch with like-minded people all over the world and steadfastly championing the international cause in their own spheres. Success on a large scale will take time, but it will undoubtedly come. I cannot let this opportunity pass without paying tribute, in particular, to the large number of our English colleagues who desire to preserve the confraternity of the intellect has remained alive through all these difficult years. The attitude of the individual is everywhere better than the official pronouncements. Right-minded people should hear this in mind and not allow themselves to be exasperated or misled. Senators or senatores boni viri, senatus autem bestia. If I am full of confident hope concerning the progress of international organization, that feeling is based not so much on my confidence in the intelligence and high mindedness of my fellows, but rather on the imperative pressure of economic developments. And since these depend largely on the work even of reactionary scientists, they too will help to create the international organization against their wills. Sorry for butchering the Latin. Senatores boni viri senatus autem bestia. I'm not sure what that means right off the top of my head. I was going to take Latin, but I never actually got into it. Senatore boni viri. There it is. See what that actually means. Uh, Translation. Senators are good men. The Senate, on the other hand, is an evil beast. Or the Senate is a beast. In other words, good people can serve in a body that's not necessarily seen with the uh, in the best of light, which Einstein was talking about in this piece. You know, science being international. It's not just confined to the realms of national power. So, yeah. Um, but that's what he kind of means in that piece. Let's go ahead and read the other one, which is called A Farewell. And the blurb reads, a letter written in 1923 regarding Einstein's resignation from the League of Nations Committee of Intellectual Cooperation in protest at the inadequacy of the League. Albert de France, at the time a high official in the German Foreign Office, later became the first German Undersecretary of the League of Nations. In 1924, Einstein, to counteract the exploitation of his earlier decision by German chauvinists in their propaganda against international cooperation, rejoined the Committee of Intellectual Cooperation. and this was published in Mein Weltbild, Amsterdam, Querido Verlag, 1934. Dear Mr. Ferrance, your kind letter must not go unanswered. Otherwise, you may be a mistaken, may get a mistaken notion of my attitude. The grounds for my resolve to go to Geneva no more are as follows. Experience has unhappily taught me that the commission, taken as a whole, stands for no serious determination to make real progress in the task of improving international relations. It looks to me far more like the embodiment of the principle ut alacide fieri videator. The commission seems to me even worse in this respect than the league taken as a whole. Uh, it is precisely because I desire to work with all of my might for the establishment of an international arbitrating and regulative authority superior to the state, and because I have this object so very much at heart that I feel compelled to leave the commission. The commission has given its blessing to the oppression of the cultural minorities in all countries by causing a national commission to be set up in each of them, which it is to form the only channel of communication between the intellectuals of a country and the commission. It has thereby deliberately abandoned its function of giving moral support to the national minorities in their struggle against cultural oppression. Further, the attitude of the Commission in the matter of combating the chauvinistic and militaristic tendencies of education in the various countries has been so lukewarm that no serious efforts in this fundamentally important sphere can be hoped for from it. The Commission has invariably failed to give moral support to those individuals and associations who have thrown themselves without reserve into the task of working for an international order and against the military system. The Commission has never made any attempt to resist the appointment of members whom it knew to stand for tendencies the very reverse of those they were bound in duty to advance. I will not bother you with any further arguments, since you will understand my resolve well enough from these few hints. It is not my business to draw up an indictment, but merely to explain my position. If I nourished any hope whatever, I should act differently. Of that, you may be sure. So we have some more Latin here. Ut alacide fieri. Let's look that up. Translation, please. Ut aliquid fieri videatur means something that can be seen. So, yeah, Einstein giving his resignation from that commission because of his unhappiness of their seeming unwilling ability to push back on certain behaviors. But that will be it for now. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.